Meet Edward Maradona, b-boy, entrepreneur and founder of Cabinet Noir. In Cabinet's 10 years of existence, they have found themselves as the one true leader of high-end fashion, not only here in Perth, but the whole country. With big plans to be world known.
The stylist of Zion Williamson from India wants to work our shit. So we had Jay-Z bought our tracksuit in New Jersey. Do you know what I mean? So we're starting to get, like celebrities starting to rock our stuff. People want to wear our stuff and buy it, you know?
Before he could taste such success, he did go through some tough times during his childhood. Being an immigrant, not being able to speak English properly, and racism.
A lot of insecurities, man, growing up. You know, like I was overweight. Coming to Australia, there was a lot of racism. You know what I mean? Every ethnic kids will have to deal with that.
100%.
You know what I mean? I didn't know how to, I couldn't speak English. I didn't know how to banter. I'm like, fuck. All this rage. I'm like, how do I express this? And
join me as we hear Edward's story on how he broke down those walls and also how he broke the walls to get into the fashion game.
There's no right or wrong in this industry, man. It's very, very like an open source book. That's why for me it was tough to kind of learn and navigate through that, especially without any connections at the beginning.
Yeah, you would have had a lot of doors closed on you.
100%.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the No Idea podcast. It's good to be back. Edward Maradona, welcome,
Yes,
brother.
sir. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
No dramas. It's been a long time coming. I remember I hit you up. It would have been a while ago.
Yeah, a while ago. We're trying to make this happen.
Yep.
Finally here, we're both busy. You're busy.
Yeah, that's it, man. Well, especially yourself. But first thing, question. Maradona have anything to do with Diego?
Man, it's the funniest thing. I was born 29th of June, 1986. That was around the same time when Diego Maradona did the Hand of God.
Yep.
And my granddad saw it at the hospital. And it's like, I want to name my grandchild Maradona. So that was my name. But then my mom didn't put my dad's surname in the birth certificate. She didn't know about it. She was kind of like clueless about, what? Do you have to put his surname? You know, so it became my surname. You know, so Maradona, like my brother has a different surname. My mom has a different surname. My dad has a different surname. But that was it. I was named after Diego Maradona.
Nice,
because I was born in that same time.
That's a big last name to have too. Is that what's on your passport?
It's on my passport, my birth certificate. I was like, do I want to change it? It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then I don't want to live on his shadow. But then maybe I can just reinvent it again. I don't know. I'm still deciding. My kid's going to have that? You know, we'll see.
Nice, bro. But before we get into it, mental health chicken. How are you, bro? Like, how are you feeling mentally?
Man,
physically?
mentally strong. You know,
Nice.
so for me, I grew up in that era when there was no depression or anxiety and stuff like that, right? So we didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I was sad. I'm like, man, are you sad? Man, toughen up. You know, but now it's just so many labels of these little things, which, you know what, it's good to be made aware of because such a thing.
Yep.
Right? So I'm good. I just try my best to kind of stay strong. I'm pretty stubborn. So if I feel like low, depressed, I just all right, what can I do? What sort of tricks and techniques and life hack, body hack, health hack that I need to learn?
What's something you would say you are doing for your mental health?
Man, like for me, I had a bad breakout of like psoriasis, right? For me, like there's a skin condition. So psoriasis is like an autoimmune disease.
Yeah, right.
So basically, I don't talk about it much because like I've kind of grown past it. So what it was is it just flared out. So if you ever Google psoriasis, it looks gross, right? It's like your whole body covered with these patches, red patches up to my head, my neck, and there was no cure for it. And I went to every single doctors. They're like, yeah, there's no cure for it. And I'm like, the only thing you can do is steroid cream, and you can do like UV light. And the worst comes to worst is you injectable, which is basically reset your immune system. And that was the last scenario. You don't want that because if you inject that, your immune system goes to zero, basically. So that was the last resort. And then later on, I found out it was actually stress-driven. But no one told me about it. Like, I Googled it, and no one talks about, you got to change your diet, you got to exercise, take probiotic, take all these things, right? I
No
didn't know
data behind it. Yeah.
No, it was all stress, man. So I learned how to manage my stress and learn how to manage my anxiety. Do you know what I mean? That helped out a lot. And reading a lot of podcasts and just learning from successful people. Like, how do successful people deal with stress? If you're running $1 billion company, how do you deal with that? If you're running leading 1,000 people, 10,000 people, how do you deal with that? If they can do it, there must be a way to do it, right? To me, just always the pursuit of happiness, like Kid Cudi's song, always the pursuit of happiness, man. If something drags you down, just trying to find a way to combat that. Don't give up. So like even going for a run, eating well, exercising, not drinking as much. And I drink a lot. I don't think I can ever stop that. I'm like,
Don't we all, man?
oh man, guilty. But yeah, like, I don't know. How do you deal with it?
A lot of exercise, reading, meditation. I've recently started getting into breath work as well. And I've started...
Like the Wim Hof breath work, or just kind of like more of a deep...
Yeah, deep breath work. I have looked into the Wim Hof kind of stuff, and it's been recommended, but
It's kind of crazy. I tried it once. I'm like, ugh, not for me.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. And just trying to eat right. And doing things that make me happy, bro.
Yeah. That's it, man. Yeah.
That's it. Look, let's get into your childhood. If I was a fly on the wall in your household back when you were a child, right? What would I have seen from Edward?
I think you will see two ways of raising kids. Like me and my brother were raised differently.
Okay.
And I took that now into my knowledge. At the time when I was young, I didn't know about it. Right, so I was like two of us, and my mom would always kind of like scold my older brother, like, you know, you shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that, and you know, why can't you be like your little brother? And so my ego is my confidence getting boosted while his confidence getting shattered, right?
Yep.
So as I get older, I get it. Do you know what I mean? Like why I have this certain way of like trying to achieve more, and he's more like trying to glue the family together. So his excellence is different to mine. You know what I mean? For me, it's like I'm trying to overachieve everything.
Yeah.
And if I fail at one thing, I'll be like, why? And I'll be like so stubborn. I need to succeed in that. And I'm so stubborn. Like, again, that goes into the whole mental depression, mental anxiety, all that stuff, right? Mental health thing. Because I'm too proud to like let go, to lose to that.
Yeah.
You know, to like lose to losing to mental health, right? It's like, for me, it's like, I need to win against that and that and that.
Yeah.
And so I think from starting early on, I learned how to have that pride and trying to overachieve everything. Obviously, I have a lot of insecurities, man, growing up.
Yeah.
You know, like I was overweight. Coming to Australia, there was a lot of racism. You know, I mean, every ethnic kids will have to deal with that.
100%. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I didn't know how to, like, I couldn't speak English. I didn't know how to banter. I'm like, fuck, like, I'm like, all this rage. I'm like, how do I express this? And for me, it's like, that's why language is very important, right? So I had to learn English language. A lot of kids, especially a lot of immigrants who don't speak English well, they resort to violence.
Yep.
Because that's the only way they know how to act against the racism or against the bullying. The only way they can handle it is by kicking their ass, right? Yep. But for me, it's like, no, fuck this. I got to learn the language, I got to sound like them. So now I can banter, I can talk to them back. I can be, I can be witty to them, you know. So I'm like, cool. And now they respect you because now I can speak better. I can speak well.
Yep.
So there's a lot of insecurities growing up that I have to kind of patch over.
How did you learn English? What was it, self-taught? Were you attending, like, you know?
To be honest, when I first came to Australia, bro, all I knew was like, I eat an apple or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I do know the difference between pronouncing tree, and whatever else. Like, you know, the third sound took me ages. I have to practice in front of the mirror. I'm like, why? In Indonesian, right, I'm Indonesian. So, like, we pronounce TH like a T.
T, yeah.
So, like instead of saying 30 trees, we'll say 30 trees.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's like, so I have to learn that. And I have to start sounding this. And I just kind of like, I remember just when teacher tells me that I read a passage from the book, I'll freak out. I'm like, holy fuck. That was like my biggest anxiety, man. Yeah. In front of the students, you know, and people, I can just hear like kids laughing and shit. Giggling. And I'm like, oh man. And then they send me to ESL, which is, I don't know if you know, but it's English second language class. So basically before the English class, you know. And so we're going to have to learn the basics again. And it was us, basically the minorities. And I went to a private school. There was not a lot of Asians. There's not a lot of other ethnicity there. So maybe just 5-10 of us. And that's when I go, you know what? I need to get back on that main class.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm stubborn.
Do you feel like you are someone that has to prove people wrong?
100%.
That's what it sounds like, just hearing.
Bro, I think that's why when I listen to Gary Vee, it resonated with me, because Gary Vee went through the same thing as well, right? Where he couldn't speak English, and he had to prove something to people. And that's, to me, it's like that. So that built from early on. Yeah. I have to prove to everyone.
Yeah. Tell us about your parents. What would we have seen from your parents?
I divorced parents.
Yep.
So we're just mom basically
Okay.
looking after us. So me and like us kids and mom, very, very tight. So we're always going to look after my mom.
Mummy's boy.
Yeah. I mean, like they
Same,
look after
bro.
us. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, if it's the other way around, if dad's looking after us, then we'll be daddy's boys.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? But the fact that my mom is the strong one, so we kind of have to look after our mom and raised us, you know, and we have to learn, we have to kind of raise ourselves as well as trying to like look after each other. So it's kind of like, you know, it's two boys and a mom, just we kind of looking after each other kind of thing.
You had to grow up from a young age, like grow up
Yeah.
quickly, would you say?
Yeah, I think, not really, man. We just grow together, not really necessarily quickly.
Okay.
Like Indonesian family is kind of very tight. You know, it's like this is what I find in Australia. I find it funny, right? When you're 18, I'm not sure what it's like in New Zealand, but when you're 18, the kids just want to leave the house.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? For us, it's like we're very similar. It's like when I bump into like Italian families, they're like, yeah, they're still we're tight with the mom and the non. They all live in a one big house. We're in a big family. That's kind of like Indonesian family who look after mom. It's like, want to make sure, is she okay?
Yeah.
Or they look, and you know, she's still kind of like, hey, are you guys okay? So very, very tight that way.
Yeah.
But I find like the culture shock, and everyone's yeah, man, we're 18, we're gonna be out of here, we're moving this. I'm like, why are you rushing so much? You know, I didn't get that.
Yeah, nice. So where would you say the fashion come into play? Because I'm a believer that you know your childhood, there's like a defining moment, or you know, it plays a part in what we do today. So I'm just trying to figure out, where did fashion kind of come into it?
Man, it kind of fell upon me by accidentally, right? I started off as a b-boy, as a break dancer, you know, like, and starting off at the beginning, I was just trying to impress a girl, man. To be honest, like again, just trying to like dance.
I know those ones, bro.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, just run DMC music video clip. I'm like, God damn, I want to do that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And trying to impress a girl, and at the time, how the fuck do you learn how to break anywhere? And then my friend just gave me this pamphlet. Hey, there's this guy from Germany. His name's Nico. He's doing a workshop. I'm like, fuck yeah, check it out. And I was hooked. I saw this guy just like topless, ripped, doing air flares. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I was as a kid. I was like, what? I want to do that. And it's like, yeah, I've been breaking for 6 years. Shout out to B-Boy Nico in Dubai right now. And I'm just like, in 6 years, I can be and look like him. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in. And I got so obsessed with it, man. I forgot about the girl. I was like, you know what? I'm obsessed to a point where I live, breathe, breaking. Like I literally, straight after school, go to the park where they train, just chill. And then meet the boys. And I was like, oh man, like, and these guys came from the streets, so they ghetto, right? So now I'm like, but we just bond real well. We kind of look after each other. And I came from a nice, healthy family, you know, no gangsterism. But they're hanging out with these boys. I feel like, oh yeah, it's kind of cool. I feel kind of gangster right now. And it started like that. And how we came into fashion was, you know, I've always worked at sneaker store like Foot Locker and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I dream
into the sneaker culture.
Yeah, sneaker culture is big for b-boys especially, right? Like we always say, we dress from the bottom up, so from your sneakers up.
Yep.
So that's how it came about, like in fashion, you know. But I wouldn't really say I was in fashion, but I just like clothes and dressing up and sneakers and stuff. So like, yeah, so work at retail a few years. I think I went to Adidas, G-Star, and all these big companies. And then I decided to open the shop. So when I opened the shop, I just wanted to open a sneaker store with clothes. Yep. Dealt with a lot of negative feedback. People like, no, we don't need any more sneakers, especially from the people in the industry. And that's when I started to go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to go into Japan, Paris, New York, just see what's out there. And that's how I fell into fashion, because out of necessity, I couldn't get all these brands in Australia because I've been blocked by other companies. So I went beyond, start traveling overseas. Yep. And that's when I started importing like all these exclusive brands, like Japanese brands, like European brands. And then before you know it, a lot of stores in Australia are starting to follow suit. They start traveling to Paris, Milan, and stuff like that.
Nice, bro.
But yeah, it's fun.
Sounds it.
Yeah, man. Like it's a different world for sure. To me, it's like a culture shock because a lot of people like, now I'm like stepping away from the hip hop into this like fashion crowd.
Yep.
And to me, it's kind of I still bring the hip hop mentality. I'm like, oh, what's that? Who's that over there? You know, that's the big guys. Like like I want to hang with the big boys. Like I want to hang with, So it's kind of fun to kind of infiltrate the scene that way.
It sounds like a difficult industry to break into.
Super hard, unless So there's no rule book. There's no like blueprint to this industry. If you become a lawyer, you got to do this and this, this, this. If you become, this industry is very much like an open field. There's no like, there's kind of like a guidebook where, all right, if you want to be this store, you have to carry all these brands. If you want to be this brand, you're going to have this much capital and influences. But there's no right or wrong in this industry, man. It's very, very like an open source book. That's why for me, it was tough to kind of learn and navigate through that, especially without any connections at the beginning.
Yeah, you would have had a lot of doors closed on you.
100%. And that's when I had to kind of go to Paris. I remember like having to crash some showrooms. I go, oh my God, there's the brand's showrooms here. I'm going to knock on the door and say, hey, excuse me, can I come in and have a look? I'm from Australia. And that's how I got the brands.
Yeah.
Pretty much just gate crashing all these, showrooms.
Yeah. Nice. Well, we'll go more into depth with Cabinet shortly, but we'll touch back on your B-boy days.
Yeah.
So you said you were obsessed with b-boying. Were you just competing locally, or were you traveling around? Or
I was competing locally and traveling around, but never been regarded as like one of the best in Australia. I was like good. Everyone go, oh man, Edit's good.
Yep.
So Edit's my b-boy name. So Edit's good. Not until I won the Red Bull BC1 Australia, like that was a national championship, right?
Yeah, right.
It was actually held in Sydney, called Seven Shadows, organized by Rush and Mason. So at the time, and Rush, the organizer, like, Eddie, I don't want you to compete. And I'm like, bro, I'm hungover. I don't want to compete, man, because we've just been partying the night before. I'm like, I'm here to support you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I just need numbers. I need good b-boys to be in the top 16. So I was literally there to make up the top six, to make the top 16 look nice.
Yep.
Right? Because at the time, they flew in a guy from Europe, b-boy Blanca, and a guy from Korea, b-boy Blonde, so they can battle it out in the final.
right.
Right, so that was the whole
That was the story,
The
kinda,
story, like
yeah,
man, because they put like I can see how they put one end and put the other guy on one end, and I'm like here.
Yep.
So what I mean. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go hard first round, do all my best moves, and then I won the first round. Oh shit. Okay, cool. And I did everything else, my second best moves in the second round, and I won the second round. So, oh shit, I'm in the quarterfinal now. So I won again in the quarters. I'm like, fuck, I've got no more moves, man. I ran out of moves. I was freaking out. I'm like, fuck, the next guy is the guy from Europe, Blanca.
Yeah.
And he was hype. He was been winning like all the competitions in Europe and shit like that. I'm like, dude, no chance. Everyone's kind of like, dude, no chance, man. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I had a good run.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
I'm hungover.
And I'm hungover. And another thing is, he's my mentor, and his mentor is who's in the same crew as him is one of the judges. So no chance he's gonna go. Like I've already lost a vote there, right? Yeah. So battle, did my thing, just having fun, and everyone else went tie, except his crewmate. His crewmate actually pointed me. I'm like, what? Which is my mentor. Shout out to Part One. And I was like, because he saw the details that the other judges didn't kind of see. And I'm more about, my dad's all about detail and storytelling. So he didn't like that. He actually voted against his own crewmate and voted me. So now I'm in the final. I'm like, holy fuck. Now I'm against B-Boy Blonde, who's like, super famous in Korea in the scene. He's pioneered a lot of moves. And I know he's got one dope move left that he's saving for the final, which is this elbow spin. They would spin like 15, 20 rotations on one elbow, right? So I know he's saving that up. I'm like, bruh, he's going to use that against me because he hasn't used it. Yeah, he hasn't used it all the way through.
Fatality.
Anyways, that was a fatality move. And he did that first round, I think was. And I was like, fuck, you know what? I'm just going to dance, man. So I was just dancing, you know what I mean? I think I did like Michael Jackson moonwalk tribute to MJ. Just shit like that, just making fun of him, like, yeah, cool, you can do 16 spins or whatever on your elbow. I can do just making fun of him. And then they didn't they didn't do the points. And I remember 3, 2, 1. The judge just lifted my hand up. I'm like, what the fuck? So I just won that and just kind of completely ruined the whole scheme.
Yep. And
then Red Bull flew me out to the competition at Southeast Asia. I lost against Japan, which is crazy. That was a good experience, man. That was
money, was much money involved?
Nah, man. Even now, breaking to the Olympics, there's no money, no sponsorship. We literally have to save up so we can travel.
Yeah.
Right? If you win a competition, you get $1,000. The flight's like $3,000. Yeah. Or something like that, So There's no money in
Wouldn't
this
even
game.
pay for your hotels or anything, would it?
Yeah, man, I paid for my everything, bro. Hotel, food. Even the top guys who won Red Bull BC won the world, the prize money I think it was only like 50 grand. Only now it's probably like 100 grand, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
Sponsorship is not big in breaking. It's more about the bragging rights, right?
Yeah, yeah, true that. Okay, so we done our B-boy days. You said you fell into fashion, and then you wanted to.
That's why I got into fashion too, because there's no money in the breaking. Like, man, I was like 27, 28. I'm like, bro, I can't. Or 20, no, it was 25, 24, 25. I'm like, I can't live off, just teaching and breaking and competing. And what happens when I'm getting old? What happens when I'm injured? I can't make money off it.
Yeah.
So that's when I go, you know what? I need something more stable. That's when I decided to either buy a house. I saved down to buy a house or open a shop. So we decided to open a shop. Yeah.
You took a risk there, man.
Took the risk, man. Put everything into it.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't put everything into it. That's why I'm like, this big learning lesson there. Just opening a business without knowing anything about opening a business.
So obviously you didn't really know what you were doing when you opened the business. Would you say you still know what you're doing now?
Yeah, much more than I did like 10 years ago. For sure, it's been 10 years, right?
Yep.
And even then, it's still a lot of learning curves. A lot of things that I'm like, all right, cool. I need to budget better. Oh, I need to make sure pick my brands better. I need to understand my market. And fashion now is so fast, right? And to say I know what I'm doing now is an overstatement, because even the biggest brands like Louis Vuitton, they don't know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? They're still testing it out, right? Yep. They're still getting new creative directors. They're still trying different looks, different marketing scheme and all that stuff. So to say I know what I'm doing, I pretty know how to run the business.
Yep.
But in terms of projecting trend, how do I know what's going to be popular in the next 6-8 months? No idea. So it's more like a lot of trial and error still.
Yeah, I was about to say that, trial and error.
You just need to adapt a lot quicker, I think. You just need to adapt a lot quicker than everyone else.
Pivot quickly.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. So Cabinet Noir, so how did you come about the name? Because when I first seen the name, my instant thought was like high end. That's how the name sounded to me.
That's exactly how I wanted the name. I wanted to sound high end and luxury.
Yeah.
And I wrote down a bunch of names. I think the top two was like the society. I wanted to sound like kind of Illuminati. The cabinet, the society, and then they're all taken. I'm like, man, it's too broad. What about the society noir? It sounds a bit too wanky. What about the cabinet noir? And I Googled what it meant. Cabinet noir means black room. It was the office where during the French Revolution, King Louis XIV, whatever, during his era, it was the hidden office where they used to open suspicious letters before they get passed on to the recipient. So it's kind of like this filtering. It's like a movement. They don't know it's there, but then it's there. Do you know what I mean? So I love that. I'm like, man, it's kind of like a hidden operation, very Illuminati. It means black room. I love black.
Yep.
And it's like, and my favorite, I have a degree in film video, by the way. So, and my favorite genre was French noir, film noir. And noir's always been such a dope name, like noir, when I put the two words together, Cabinet Noir, it was like, means black room. Man, it's so abstract.
Yep.
So I love that. So it stuck with me forever.
Yeah, nice. What were the first kind of brands that you got into, Cab?
Initially, I remember this very vividly, right? So I had all these brands written down. I want a Nike, I want a Jordan account, I want an Adidas account, Puma, New Balance at the time was big. And my friend was working New Balance. And I was like, man, New Balance, I can get New Balance account like this. He's guaranteed, because my friend's working, for sure he's going to give it to me.
Yeah.
I remember like 2-3 months before we're opening, in the middle of our store fit out, he emailed me, Eddie, bad news. I'm like, what do you mean bad news? I can't give you the account. What do you mean? Why? Like, oh, there's another store opening. They've already got an account. So we're like, we can't give you the account because they're an existing client. I'm like, fuck. Man, I was crushed.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. It's just like, do I just keep going with it? I just kept going with it. Couldn't get Nike. Nike didn't respond. Adidas, yeah, we could get it, but only like the low-tier stuff. Puma was straight away down since day one, which is awesome. And I love Puma.
Bro. And you still got Puma.
I still got Puma.
Yep.
That's why I remember like, all right, this is the brand I want to keep because they were there day one.
Day ones, yep.
I remember my first product was just Puma shoes and a few Adidas shoes, Kangol bucket hats.
Yeah, yep.
You know what I mean? Like few shirts and jeans and stuff like that. I just remember the opening, man. It was crazy. It was just like, we didn't have much. But I remember the first sale one day before we opened. Hey, man, I just want to buy that shoe. oh, look, we're opening tomorrow and I just want it now. I'll give you cash. I'm like, took the cash.
Yep.
There you go. Thank you very much. You're my first customer ever. I remember that until today, you know, just like that feeling. I'm like, man, like, fuck, this is what it feels like, opening a business, having a business,
Yep.
like, you know, transactions,
customers
coming in.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
and I was just like ear to ear, you know, like I got two of my friends to join in. There was like three of us, man. We weren't making money at all. We just like maybe like 5 sales a day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, but we're just so happy, like, fuck it, this is so cool. Like, I'm just like, it's my own space, you know, we throw parties and stuff like that. And it just grew.
Yep.
Like, and then after that, we got New Balance account, we got Nike account, we got Adidas account, you know, we got the Jordans, which is like my goal was to have a Jordan account by 5th year. And in 5th year, we got Jordan account. You know what I mean? But now, like, our direction completely changed.
Yep.
Yeah, completely changed. Now, you know, we want to be next level. We felt like we've reached that level. To go beyond is we need to get into the fashion game. Like right now, you see the kids, they're more looking to the luxury fashion.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So we gotta be in that realm. Even with our brand, it needs to be in that like premise, in the luxury designer concept, because it's a fine dining experience. I always say it. We're opening Michelin star restaurant. We're not opening fast food chain. If you want more money, yeah, we'll go to fast food way, but we're a fine dining. Michelin star restaurant, yeah, the top ones make money, but they don't make like a lot of money like McDonald's or like fast food franchises do, right?
Yep.
So that's our business model is basically like a fine dining method of doing. Yeah.
And I would say you get the fine dining experience as well.
Man, that's what we want, you know, the service, because like you go to a Michelin star restaurant, you just need to go there once every year and you're content emotionally, right? You feel like, oh man, it's good. Have McDonald's, I want it again next week, because you don't feel content. It's just like you're craving it all the time.
Yep.
Because, you know, your satisfaction is filled just momentarily. But with fine dining, the experience, man, the way to like open up the food and the smoke comes out and like, the chef wants you to eat it like this. And I'm like, to a lot of people, it sounds wanky, but to me, I'm like, oh my God, the chef's so creative. Everyone else, like, oh my man, it's so wanky. You're paying like $300 for a meal. Like, brother, it's because I raised my standard of living. Do you know what I mean? I want my food to be an art expression. Do you know what I mean? That's for me, same with clothes. Like, people don't get it until they wear our clothes. I'm like, man, the small detailing. Oh yeah, we use these Japanese cotton and we use this pleat on the back so it flows better on the back. And people are like, what? Like, man, yeah, we think about everything. We want it to be like this. The collar thickness is like 1 millimeter thick because we want it to go up. Just all these little things, right?
Details people professionally.
Man, there's a
some
saying
kind of
in
way,
our
man.
store, like, we're not trying to sell products, we're trying to sell emotions.
Emotions, yeah.
Because once you emotionally attach to the product, it sells itself.
Yep.
But we're not trying to force you. Hey, but we can describe you what you might buy. This t-shirt's 230 GSM cotton, and it's produced like this. We're using this kind of material and the way it's cut. And then suddenly go, fuck, I want that. You know, I want that.
Yep.
So that's exactly how we do it, man. Like, it's that emotion. And when you put it on, our t-shirt's not cheap.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's very expensive, but you put it on, you go, fuck, I'm proud. Now, I get kids comes to the store, man, I used to come to the shop, couldn't afford anything. Now I can afford it for my 21st. So they have that attachment to it. So one day I'm going to be able to wear Cabinet Noir stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll love that feeling. I'm like, well done. Welcome to the family. You know, welcome to the new standard of living.
Nice, bro. I remember my first experience with Cabinet. It wasn't the best one. Nothing to do with the store itself. It was when you guys, I think you guys were the first ones to stop or get Yeezys in, right? Yep. So he's done I think it might have been the first maybe Pirate Blacks or Turtle Doves or something. He's done a raffle.
We're doing raffles. Yeah. Oh man.
Done a raffle, bro. So I turned up to go collect my raffle ticket. It was hectic. There was a guy, like, we were kind of side to side, and then there was a bit of a like kind of push and shove, and he fell on the ground. I felt bad for him. Man fell on the ground. I picked him up. You're right, bro. Sweet. And then I just felt so bad for him in the line, and then I ended up being in front of him. But then I was like, "Oh, here, bro, you go in front, grab your ticket."
Oh
and he was
no!
like, are you sure? I was like, "Yeah, no, just go for it." Anyway, so we both got our tickets. I come back maybe the Saturday he's done the raffle. It was like B21 purple, bro. My ticket number was B22 purple, and I was like, that motherfucker that I helped. Fucking got my pair of Yeezys, and that was it.
If you're listening, please give the Pirate Blacks back.
But it's all good. But I ended up coming back into the store.
And that was a hard one for us. That was like, because Adidas told us, this is how you need to do it.
Yeah.
And we go, fuck, this is not efficient at all. But they're trying to build traffic. They're trying to build, hype, right? I remember the whole lane was packed. I was like, dude, what, you want us to call out the number?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's not ideal at all. But it worked out for him, right? Create a
100%.
vibe, and the news turned up and all that shit.
Yeah.
And our store became popular. It was like listed on all these, like, as the Yeezy supply.
Bit of a Kanye effect.
Man, the Kanye effect was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember that. You know.
Yeah. Fun times. So your first big brand that you got in the store, who was it?
Man, at the time, I remember I was doing a lot of sneakers, like Japanese denim. That was my thing. I love Japanese denim. And then we were carrying a lot of streetwear brands. But then when we get into Paris, the first brand that actually opened the doors was Comme des Garçons.
Yep.
And Comme des Garçons was like, yep, we wanna be with you. I'm like, man, it was like, what? No one stocked Comme des Garçons in Perth at the time. You know, like we're like, fuck yes. I had to go all the way to Paris. I was nervous wreck. I had my iPad ready to show my presentation. And I was like, Eddie, you don't have to show me a presentation. We already approved you. I'm like, oh, what? So happy. That was like my first door moment, you know? From there, we got Public School.
Yep.
And Public School just won CFDA awards, one of my favorite brands. And then more brands joined up. And then Undercover was my next brand. And that was my favorite Japanese brand. And that's the one I actually gate crashed in Paris. I was like, man, that's Undercover, the brand. And I remember this lady, Christine, who owns the showroom. Yeah, we don't have anyone in Perth stocking it. You can stock us. I'm like, no way. And then the big one, the major one for us was Off-White after that.
Yep.
This was before Off-White got big.
Yeah. Okay.
They were like, hey, we want you to carry brand Off-White, Virgil's brand. I'm like, who's Virgil? You know, at the time, we're like, Virgil who? Oh, he's friends with Kanye. And I'm like, oh, to me, it's like, oh, we just had the Kanye thing.
Yep.
So it might be big. And like, oh, let me suss it out. And we got the brand. We're the first store to bring Off-White to Australia. And then we got 424 after that. Gosha Rubchinski was massive. So all these brands, so we become like known as the store that was launching these new up-and-coming brands, right? Which we're going to talk you to the next one, which is Kid Cudi's brand.
Yeah, yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we launched Jaden Smith's brand. Now we're launching Kid Cudi's brand, Members of the Rage. And I love Kid Cudi. Like, you know, I think most people would say the same thing. They love Kid Cudi. The brand was like, I looked at the showroom. I'm like, is Kid Cudi around? I just want to meet him.
Yeah.
Oh, he just went out. He's been in the showroom all week. I'm like, fuck, I just missed out. But anyways, his collection's insane. I can't wait to launch it. And we launched Kid Super, who's, you know, killing it at the moment. And like every celebrity is wearing Kid Super again. Kid Super was a funny one where, you know, this showroom, John Baldwin's like, man, like, you should come down and check out the Kid Super brand. I'm like, what the fuck is Kid Super? And he's going to be the next big thing. So I saw him in Amsterdam. Funny story. He was selling tracksuits at the back of the car. I'm like, and he was just like, yeah, man, you want to? Yeah, I'll buy it. You know, like, I'll buy your first collection to support you. And then he went to Daily Paper store, my friend's store in Amsterdam. And the next minute, he's like, we just talking to Kid Super. Yo, is that Goldlink? I'm like, yeah, I think that's Goldlink. Yo, you're Goldlink. Da, da, da. Chilling. And then next minute, we're smoking weed at the back, playing soccer with Goldlink, Kid Super, and like DJ Marvel. I'm like, this is so random. And then now he's blown up. He was doing stuff with Louis Vuitton, as you may have seen. He did a show in Paris that killed it. Man, his brand just gone crazy.
Yep.
Like crazy at the moment. So I love seeing that. You know what I mean? Seeing like Cabinet Noir becoming the launch pad for a lot of brands.
A lot of brands, yeah.
But now it's my turn. Do you know what I mean? I want our brand to launch. Because like I've been lifting all these brands and I'm like, bruh, like why haven't I pushed my own brand? Do you know what I mean? So my mindset now changed. Like last year we just an agency in London. I tried just launching our brand. So now we're gonna start pushing our brand more.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? I got the stylist of Zion Williamson from MDA wants to work our shit. So we started getting. We had Jay-Z bought our tracksuit in New Jersey. Do you know what I mean? So we're starting to get like celebrities starting to rock our stuff. People want to wear our stuff and buy it. You know. So now we got to focus on that. And the next 12 months, you're gonna see our brands like into a different realm. We hope.
Well, you know, if the likes of Jay-Z and that are purchasing your brand, it's definitely got that high end.
I was like, I can give him free shit.
Yeah.
If he's gonna rock it, fuck yeah.
Oh, fucking oath, bro. What was I gonna?
And like that Russell Westbrook's brand, shout out to Honor the Gift, the shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, bro.
And shout out to Chris
I
for
love
getting
Honor
it.
the Gift, man. Russell Westbrook, like, you know, I always, when I'm watching his games, like before the game played, we talked about it out front. I'm always like, fuck, I wonder what Russ is going to wear
He's
this
always
time.
the most stylish, right? But now it's like every NBA player's got their own stylist. But at the time, Russ was just doing his own thing.
Doing his own thing,
He's
man.
styling his own himself, and it's always, man, it's always so fly.
Yep.
And I think everyone's trying to emulate that.
Do you go to brands, or do brands come to you and be like, hey, can you stock our stuff? Or
I used to beg, not beg, but like, it's like, I was, man, like present, like I said, have my presentation. And like, hey, I'm Edward Maradona from Cabinet Noir. Would love to stock your brand. These are my brands list. This is what my emails entails.
Yep.
But now they come up to me.
They come to you.
Yeah. They're like, hey, Eddie, heard about Cabinet Noir. You're the only one approved for our brand. We want to work with you. I'm like, okay. Now I say no a lot. I used to say yes a lot.
Yeah.
Now, even though it's like, oh yeah, it's worn by celebrities. Now it's like every celebrity is rocking every single brand, every other brands anyways. So the credibility of celebrities running a particular brand is not that important to me. Now I see the collections.
Yeah.
Right? I see the collection. I'm like, the collection's got legs. Even without the name of so-and-so behind it, I think I can sell it. You know, I've seen LeBron James' brand. I'm like, not good. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, even though it's LeBron James, I'm like, but I saw Kid Cudi's brand. I'm like, oh, fuck, he's got legs.
Yeah.
You know, he's got cool style. So yeah, like now, like they come up to us now because the last 10 years we've been building our name. Like if, you know, we go to Paris Fashion Week, they know who Cabinet Noir is.
Yeah.
I think we're probably bigger over there in terms of like name and pool over in Europe than here. And that's kind of funny thing. Like, we need to be bigger in Australia.
Big in Australia, yeah.
But fashion is not there yet for Australia, I think. That's what we need to push. We need to push. We need to like really pushing the fashion scene. And the kids driving that now. I love seeing what the kids are wearing. They inspire me, man. Yeah.
What would you say of the Perth fashion?
I love it.
Yeah.
Like you used to look at like Melbourne and Sydney, and man, we wanna, but there's no sense of like community there. I feel like I go to Melbourne, Sydney, everyone's, yeah, cool, you got access to all these brands, but there's no fashion community there.
Yeah, okay.
We got fashion communities here. I mean, we have like 4 people signed by Paul's agency in London. They're all from Perth. All our homies, they're all signed, and no one else is signed from over east. So, you know what I mean? So that gives us like, fuck, we have our own bubble.
Yep.
We're a small community, but we're strong, we're supportive. Like everyone support us. Everyone support local brands here. We got amazing local brands in Perth. Man, like Perth brands are killing it globally. Do you know what I mean? I can't see any other brands over east killing it. I mean, Song for the Mute, my favorite brand from Sydney. Shout out to the Song for the Mute crew. But besides that, man, like Perth is the next spot, and that's why we want to push. Hopefully, we can do a fashion week here, like Perth Fashion Week.
Fucking dope,
do you know what I mean? Like a fashion event.
Yep.
We need it. But we don't need it. But like, I think it'll be great to make Perth the capital of fashion eventually.
Fashion.
Do you know what I mean? But we need a lot of money, a lot of sponsors.
Yeah.
We need to keep pushing it back, pushing forward. And like our friends, and you know, we see like a lot of things going on. There's a lot of mini fashion shows in Perth opening from local brands, and I love getting involved. You know, they always say, "You want to come to me?" Yeah, man, I want to check it out.
Yeah.
I want to check it out. Or like student runways, I want to check out because the students are the next thing. You know, so we've got a student like Tao just won an exhibition, and he won an award in Curtin. So we're doing an exhibition for him at the shop, so people get to see his work, and we want to be able to do that more.
Awesome, bro. Let's go into Paris Fashion Week. So how long does that event go for starters?
Paris Fashion Week been there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of the couture era, you know. Used to be 4 main ones. So we got Paris, Milan, New York, and London. Right. Okay. So they're the main ones. But now everyone just tend to just go to Paris. Yep. Because Paris now the big one. Everyone looks forward to Paris. You know, all the couture week, all in Paris. And for us, for me, I go to Paris to meet with my industry friends, and that's like I said, you know, like before when we're outside, like the fashion scene is actually very like it's big, but the industry is very small. So you kind of like everyone in the industry, you know, like all right, so and so we just moved from working at Dior, now she's working Louis Vuitton, or they all kind of move around these little, you know, little the companies. So we're there to kind of have a look what's coming up, like what's next. it's like going to the farmer's market. You know, oh, what's fresh today? Oh, the tomatoes are fresh. Oh, wow, let's get the tomatoes. And all the fine dining restaurants get the tomatoes, right? Same thing like in Paris Fashion Week. It's like a big market price. Ooh, what's coming up? Who's here? Oh, yeah, so Quavo's here. He's going to launch his brand. Or Kit Kat is here. He's going to launch his brand. Do you know what I mean? Steve, whatever. Like, so you start listening from the industry people and they all talk, oh, there's a party there and so is going to be there. All right, let's check it out. Let's crash that party. I don't do the parties anymore because they start super late, like 1 o'clock till like 6 a.m. So the door opens at 12. And I got a meeting at 8, 9 o'clock. So for me, like when I'm doing buyings and stuff, I don't do the parties. Back in the days, I used to, man, this is kind of cool party, you know, with Virgil and all that shit. But now I'm like, man, I get so tired next day. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the party's mainly for like celebrities and influencers to kind of like show, hey, I'm at the Rick Owens party. I'm at the Dior party, whatever. I've done all that.
Instagrammy kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm here to work. I'm here to make money. So Paris Fashion Week for me is like, again, going to the market and seeing what's new, what's upcoming, seeing the next collection. So what I'll do is we spend a week and meet all the brands that we carry and we see the next collection. So we buy for example, in June, when we're going to Paris Fashion Week, we're buying for Spring Summer 24, which means delivery will be around February to March, April. Do you know what I mean? So we're buying for next year, for 6 months ahead. And then I'll go back in January again to buy for Autumn Winter 24. So we always travel twice a year to do that.
Do you have like a favorite like fashion week? Is it Paris? Is it Milan? Or is it London?
Paris, my favorite, man.
Paris,
because that's where everyone is. New York used to be known as like the celebrity fashion week, but now all the celebrities go to like Paris anyways. London's very much 90% of it is for the UK based brands. Milan is more luxury kind of designer brands, but like 90% of everything now happens in Paris. Everyone needs to go to Paris.
I thought they would have something in like, because I don't know much about fashion, but I thought they would have something over in like Japan or something like that maybe.
Japan Fashion Week is weird.
Is it?
It's like they're spread up across 3 months. So like, for example, if you're buying like 10 Japanese brands, right? Like they're showing, one brand will show in 1 week and another brand will show it 2 weeks after that. Another brand will show it like a week after that. So you kind of have to you have to pick like 1 or 2 brands you want to see. So logistically, it's not viable. Korea Fashion Week is kind of doing their own thing now. Korea fashion is getting big. But everyone's kind of doing their own little fashion. Like if you look at Australia Fashion Week, to me, it's like, I'm not interested in going to Melbourne, Sydney for the Melbourne Fashion Week or Sydney Fashion Week, because it's not exciting enough. There's not enough designer brands that are showing. All the designers out of Australia, they're all gone to Paris. And we want to change that. You know, hopefully we can do like something in Perth. We want to do more like a designers, more fashion, not just like, you know, if you look at Sydney Fashion Week, not to bag them or anything like that, but the whole collection basically just resort collection, you know, a lot of, like, they'll all look the same, right? But I mean, that's where the money is, I guess, over east, because everyone's wearing resort activewear. Who knows?
Is something like Fashion Week, do you have to get invited? Like, I can't be like, hey babe, let's book a ticket. You can't just go over there and
you can.
Oh, you can. Oh, I thought it was like
this is where people like, oh man, it must be great to be. I mean, yeah, some shows like, you know, you have to get invited, like Louis Vuitton and stuff like that, and it's super hard to get invited. But you know, some of the shows you can just go there, check out the smaller shows.
Yeah, true.
Or you can just pretend you're like, hey, I'm a stylist, or I'm a photographer. I'm a media press. I'm a buyer. You can just say that, and they're like, oh yeah, come in. Man, it's so hectic. It's so disorganized.
Yeah, right.
You can literally, like, if you dress well, they'll look at you and, oh yeah, just go in. Like, it was so hectic, right? Did you want to get people in the show? I'm like, fuck, the show starts in 5 minutes. Or like, what? He's late. She's late. And everyone's late in Paris. Traffic, all that stuff. But things like, you can just go around and go to a cafe and they'll look at you. I like your style. What's your name? Let's collaborate. What do you do? I work for, because everyone in Paris works for a fashion designer or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's the capital of fashion. So you bump into people all the time. So don't get discouraged. Like, this is what I tell students when they graduate fashion schools. I'm like, oh, Eddie, I don't know what to do. Man, go to Paris, go to New York, go to London. Start meeting people. That's how you bump. That's how I got into it. Just meeting people, partying, you know, talking to random people.
Build that network, man.
Build that network.
One question I do have is, who decides like the kind of color palette for the season. You know, like some, you know, I don't know, like, might be orange, and then everyone's kind of doing orange.
There used to be like a website or like a committee. They go, all right, today we're gonna do coral. This season we're gonna do coral. Everyone start doing coral. Nowadays, I don't think. They'll predict it, but no one really pays attention to that.
One brand just put out a certain color, and then
look at Yeezy, right? Like, what Kanye's done, undoubtedly, just created a new silhouette, a new color palette.
Yeah.
The Yeezy color palette wasn't used often. That whole neutral tonal stuff, and the oversized look that that he was, what Kanye was rocking. Now everyone's doing that. So Kanye was really a huge driving force of, like a disruptive force in fashion, because now everyone's like, fuck, we can't follow what the trend is going to be like anymore.
Yep.
You know, just gotta, so now, which is kind of cool. Now everyone's doing their own thing. But then they always do, you know, the safe pieces, the blacks and, you know, the bomber jackets. You know, these are staple pieces in menswear anyways.
Yeah.
And women's wear a little bit more tricky.
Yeah, okay. Do you think a lot of brands like copy and paste?
Yes. So I remember this, right? Like when I started my first brand called Always, we were doing pockets at the time, like t-shirt with pockets, graphic, you know, like with patterns and stuff was really big, like was getting bigger, and we're doing it. And we're like, man, sell-through is kind of shit. And then everyone's starting to catch on, and we released it again, sold out like this. So now, like, all right, we don't want to be too ahead of the curve. We want to be in the curve, right? So that's how you make money. And same thing with designs. People just copying now. Like, for example, like, you know, like people always make fun of Virgil. I mean, rest in peace, Virgil, for like copying a lot of designs, regurgitating it. But that's like, for me, that's hip hop, right? Like we just basically use the same samples, tweaked it, and made it theirs, right? So like a lot of the original hip hop tracks, they're all basically just samples of old music. Do you know what I mean? Like the breaks. That's how the hip hop beats came about, just sampling the breaks of the 60s funk song. So that's nothing original there. They're just tweaking it, repurposed it. So when people say, man, that's copying this and that and that. Yes, if you just copy it blatantly and not giving any reference or without tweaking it enough, then you go, yeah, that's a copy. But if you tweaked it enough, and you know you made it original, man, I don't see why not. Do you know what I mean? If it's kind of cool, it's in trend. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see the damage of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Supreme is the biggest biter of them all, right? They made so much, like a lot of money on that box logo, which is copied from that original ad logo. The campaign.
Is that where it's from?
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she did this whole text with like red box on the text.
Yep.
And Supreme logo was basically that. Just put Supreme on it. It was a spin-off and it blew up.
Fucking blew up, all right.
I mean, like Virgil's, that sort of the cross that came from an airport. There's a whole book and article about it. Do you know what I mean? Like that logo came from an airport logo. And it just took it, you know, like just put Off-White on it, right? So, yeah, like, man, everybody copies everyone. When people say, well, I'm original, bro, you're not original. I came up with, no, you didn't come up with it. We see the same movies, listen to the same song, and you're getting inspired by the same things everyone else did. So when other people came up with it too, they think they're copying you? No, you're just getting the same inspiration from everyone else. And right now, everyone's getting inspired by the same thing on TikTok, on social media, because we see the same shit. And we think we come up with, oh man, imagine if this is this. I'm like, well, because you saw that reference from that movie or that song, you know, so it's a blurred line, right?
No, 100%. You're right there. It's the same with us when we put out like our podcast kind of content, like, you know, we'll do the captions and shit like that. But other people are doing that as well. I'm just doing it because, well, that's where the eyes are going. You know,
I remember like someone copied our brand logo. Always, not the Cabinet Noir. The brand logo, same font, and now the company's worth hundreds of $1 million.
Fuck.
So I'm like, okay, let's, you know, credit to you for coming. I'm not even bitter, right? I'm like, hey, cool, all right. We gotta step our game up. Because we're the originators of that. So yeah, I don't see, if someone copying Cabinet Noir, man, I just find it funny. I'm like, oh yeah, we made it. You know, look at Louis Vuitton, they got so many copies and fakes. Only helping the brand, right?
That's it. Any brands you're looking forward to bringing into Cabinet? Yeah,
we got this brand called Represent from UK. They're massive, big influence of ours. Like the lifestyle and everything just aligned with our brand as well. That's coming in, and Kid Super, it's a big one for us as well. We want to keep supporting them. and seeing what he's doing, and yeah, he's been killing it recently. But to us, the biggest brand is our own brand, bro. We just, again, that's the potential, and we want to be more creative with the brand. Yeah, we want to see everyone wearing it. Again, it's the fine dining experience. We want people to appreciate that. For me, it's like raise your standard of living, raise your fashion game. Do you know, once you start wearing our products, you understand what I mean. You know, the quality is different. It's like eating Wagyu. You want to eat Wagyu, holy fuck, this is so good. I can't have a lot of it, but man, that's an experience, right? So that's the same thing with fashion, how we look at it.
Nice, bro. Oh, and you mentioned Kikati's brand as well.
Members of the Rage. Oh, yes, that's coming in next season. Autumn into 23. I can't wait because Members of the Rage is going to be insane for us. Like, I'm a big fan of Kid Cudi. I want to throw a party for it, you know, to celebrate it. I hope he does well for us.
100%. I'll definitely be able to check that out. Do you get much celebs coming through?
Celebrities? Like,
like, you know, famous names coming through the store?
Yeah, we do.
I remember you saying out there, you know, you don't really get too hyped about, you know,
not really. You know, they're just, to me, they're just humans, right? I mean, like, if they're dicks, I'm like, I don't give a fuck who you are, if you're famous or not. But we had like really cool people coming in, you know, like we had Imagine Dragons, Gunna, Kid Leroy. Islam Akachev when he was here. Yeah, and his whole crew. But he was like super down to earth, you know. We had tons of...
I wouldn't have expected that. He come through, bro.
Yeah, he came through and he's bought some Stone Island stuff, you know,
nice.
Which is really cool. And because they came from Louis Vuitton and the guys sent them over to us, which is cool. We had Joey Badass, Lupe Fiasco,
dope.
Diplo, DJ Snake before he got big. We had a photo with him with that glasses on, and apparently that's worth a lot of money now.
Oh, really?
Because like no one captured him with that glasses on. He's always had sunnies on. And I remember when he first came in, he only came with this one photographer. This would have been 2014. Or 13, and the photographer like, bro, I don't know who you are, man, but you want to take a photo with this guy? I'm like, who's this guy? His name's DJ Snake. He's gonna blow up soon. I'm like, okay, I'll take a photo with him. And then the next year I just went boom, holy shit, he went so big. But he was super nice as well. And you got some like dickheads, I'm not gonna mention names, just kind of like things the hot shit.
You would, bro. You would. You also opened up Cab Express.
Yep, my coffee shop.
Is that to add
my two friends did it.
Is that to add to the experience that
So the way I see our brand Cabinet Noir, it's like I don't want it to be pigeonholed as just a fashion brand.
Fashion brand,
It's a lifestyle brand, which includes shit that we like: drinking coffee, eating food, working on like our alcoholic drink at the moment. But it has to be anything with our name has to be conceptual and luxury. Has to be high end. It has to be just good quality products.
What's the alcohol? Just out of curiosity.
So we're gonna do something with Bright Tank Brewery. Shout out to the boys for making it happen. So we're just in the R&D at the moment. We're just trying to experiment with different shit. Can we make the beer black, for example? Can we make the alcohol content a bit more, for example? Can we make it this blueberry? I don't know. It's like this stuff that we're doing. Might be doing tequila, so I don't know. So but yeah, anything that we do with our name has to be conceptual, whether in food, in clothing. You know, I don't see the limit of it. It's like, imagine like, you know, you watch Batman movies and see Wayne Enterprise, Wayne Corp, Wayne, everything has Wayne on it, right? So for us, it's kind of like, oh man, it would be cool to have Cabinet Noir in everything. It doesn't have to have Cabinet Noir restaurant, whatever. It can be like, you know, Restaurante by Cabinet Noir or something like that, right? So anything with our label on it, people will guarantee they get an experience.
High-end experience.
That's the future right there.
You did mention out there, I'm not sure if you've told anyone about, you know, potentially doing some business over in Bali as well.
Yeah, man. Like for us, we want to have staple like a little, like a luxury villa in Bali. Do you know what I mean? A Cabinet Noir luxury villa. Again, you know, just in doing like something conceptual in Bali. Bali's been like a second home now. Like, I love just going there just on holidays and meeting people of the same mindset. You get a lot of business people, entrepreneurs living there. And it's crazy. You get musicians, creative people, billionaires, you know, models, fashion designers, all in one. And it's just a beautiful place to be in.
Yeah.
So the only business I can see doing is the villa, but it has to be interesting conceptual villas that people want to take photos in. Then I want to stay in Cabinet Noir luxury villa because they've got this and this and this, you know? So something like that, something we're working on. And Paris is somewhere we want to staple ourselves in as well.
Yeah, so,
So
have a store over there?
store or a head office in Paris or London. You
Yep.
know, like for us, it's like for us to go global, we need to be in somewhere global. Perth is too far.
Yeah.
I'd love to make Perth. I mean, Perth's always going to be home, like our HQ. But if we have like a second HQ overseas, like in Paris or in London, it just makes things a lot easier. Even New York, I love New York, right? So that's the future. Maybe we open a shop there
Yep.
when the brand's big enough, and I can see future there as well. So hopefully,
Yeah, nice, bro. Do much collabs?
yeah, we're doing. So this year is our 10th anniversary. Actually, we forgot to mention.
Congrats, bro.
Thank you. So we're doing 10 projects, 10 collaborations this year. A lot of them with our homies that have been supporting us since day one. A lot of them with like new partners from overseas.
Yep.
So we've done quite a bit of collabs. But for me, collaboration's not as important as like collaboration's like the icing on the cake. First of all, you got to make the cakes nice. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're just eating the icing and then it's like, man, the cake's not there, it's not a business model. So for us, like, yeah, the icing's not going to make us money. You just make the cake look pretty.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how we see the collaborations like. But also just create something interesting and for people to collect as well.
No, nice. I actually got a couple questions. I chucked it up on my social media from just a few listeners. Bit of a Q&A. There's a couple here. Let me bring them up. What do we got? What are the top 3 most influential Perth brands, past and present?
Top 3 most influential brands.
Say your own.
I would say ours, Cabinet Noir, Street X been killing it.
Yep.
Ollie Clothing been killing it as well. Man, there's a lot coming up in Perth, bro. Like our little bros, Tyler's brand, Jukuhara, been going nuts at the moment as well. It's got a following there. But yeah, Perth has got a lot of good shit.
Yep.
You know, especially like I love seeing the fashion students as well because they're so creative.
Yep.
And I want to see more of that. Do you know what I mean? Like more fashion brands that are like really pushing it. Garbage TV, for example, Carl Rogers' brand.
Yep.
Got Mantle. You know, there's so many. I mean, I like them all equally because they're so different.
Yep.
Right? I wouldn't say top 3. I got a top 20.
So there's not like one brand that you've got your eye on.
Not really. The one brand I got my eye on is Cabinet Noir.
Cabinet, yep.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's
Makes sense, bro.
Yeah, so for us, it's like we only care what we stay in our lane. We want to do what we want to do.
Yep.
And I see all my friends doing really well. Like, you know, like Dan, Street X, Ollie Clothing, Lars from Mantle, Carl, Garbage TV.
Banks as well.
Banks, Sil is our creative head designer. And, you know, like, so they're almost, we don't have any titles in our brand. You know, like, you can be creative director there. But Sil is killing it as well with this brand. So Banks and Cabinet are run by the same people. Do you know what I mean? So we share the office and design studio.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I love seeing new brands. And then we got one coming up called Right Systems, and they're doing a runways soon. Shout out to them. But yeah, I love seeing that. But for me, it's just seeing who's going to last.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
longevity,
longevity is the hardest thing, man.
It's going to be able to sustain in such a... what is it? Such a market that's saturated. Yeah,
it's so saturated, but also a lot of new brands get discouraged when they don't see results straight away.
Yep.
Because they don't really plan and strategize how they're gonna last for the next 3-4 seasons, right? This is where I'm opening. So we're actually doing our fashion course, online fashion course as well.
Okay. Awesome.
So that's gonna hopefully launch by end of this year. So what we want to help up and coming brands to kind of either new designers who just graduated fashion school, they want to get into the industry, but they don't know how. We got them.
Yep.
Because there's no rule, there's no like blueprint for that. Like I said, you know, like I had to learn my way. Yep. I have to like navigate and just now I know how to do it through. And there's no one's teaching you. There's no YouTube videos like how to open a store. Like I mean, there's stuff like that, but then I want to be able to actually guide these people from scratch to opening the store or starting the brand.
Yep.
Or how do we 10x our brand. Oh, you don't know how to 10x? Let's focus on that. The marketing side of the thing. So a lot of new brands, a lot of local brands, they just kind of like launch for one season and they're not making enough money to launch a second season because they didn't plan ahead, right? And that's the problem. Yeah. And I think it's the biggest problem with a lot of new upcomers. So many times I hit, yeah, Eddie, come to our launch party. Cool. Well, then I'll come to your launch party. But in my head, it's like, all right, how many more launches are you going to do? Do you know, is it going to be a 1-season brand?
Yep.
Is it going to be a 2-season brand? Or is it going to keep going? We're lucky enough to be 10 years. Well, our brand's going to be running for 2 years. Our store's been running for 10 years. But now we're like, all right, we're seeing progress. Like StreetX been running for like 11 years, right? And their brand's been probably properly running for 8-9 years. So it takes a while to get going.
Man. Yeah.
They've been around the game. Look where they are now. Ollie's, same thing. They've been around for a long time.
Yep.
Mantle. It's just more about like the last longing, like who's going to be there till the end.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's interesting for me to see.
Yeah, like a lot of people expecting like overnight success or you know, just quick success.
And I've seen celebrity brands only last for 1 season.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened to that? But I thought it was going to be backed by, you know, like celebrities and still celebrities having a hard time to sell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So brand is super hard, man.
What would you say, what's important with building your brand?
To me, it's like I said before, don't trying to sell the product, trying to sell the emotion, right?
Experience the emotion.
The emotion. Once you have that, but how do we keep having? It's like buying a car. Oh my god, I love that car, but then next month you're kind of like over it. You want to buy a new car. Now you're gonna repeat that feeling for 10 years, for 20 years. How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it new? I think it's got to do with like, for me, it's like no one knows the secret. But if you build it with the community, if you can start with small, can you sell to your friends? And if your friends don't want to wear it, I'm like, fuck, something wrong with your brand, bro. If your friends and family don't want to buy a t-shirt, there's a lot of redesigning. Maybe your logo's not right. Maybe your design's not cool. Do you know what I mean? But if your friend's going to support and you see stuff selling out, I'm like, oh shit. Like we see our boy's brand, Tyler, right? He's just like 19-year-old, 20-year-old. Shout out Tyler with Jukuhara and, you know, Jargon Gallery. He's helping out a lot of other up-and-coming brands as well. I see he's building community. Right? He's snapping people wearing his stuff.
Man, community.
And they love being snapped. Oh my God, they love being appreciated by the designer. Right? Look at Virgil. I remember Virgil used to come to during Fashion Week. He would go to these events, these little events organized by kids and like saying hi to kids. And they come up to him and like, hey, and he's super like nice to everybody. I'm like, man, he's building community. You know, I think that's really important. StreetX, big community, Ollie, big community. So these are the brands that really, really elevating the community and really pushing community. They're very patriotic with Perth and stuff like that. You know, I love that.
The other question in there was, what's the creative process like? So it's quite broad, but I'm just going to assume like the creative process through, you know, when you go into design something or like your own brand.
It changes every time.
I bet,
the feel.
I thought, yeah.
So like right now for me, it's like, all right, boys, I'll talk to the team. Like, boys, I'm going to Bali. I need some fit for like holiday. You know, we don't have anything like that. We don't offer any resort wear. Maybe we can work on it on the next season. I'm like, boys, we need to do some varsity. Like this year, our SS23 collection, which is coming now, is inspired by Michael Jordan because it's 23.
23.
Yep.
Makes sense.
The year of Jordan. So we're doing 3 collections based on the sports that he liked, right? So basketball, baseball, and golf. So, you know, so that sort of stuff where we come up, you know, so next year, next season is still 23, so we might do some auto sports. So like he loves, you know, racing. So we might do like a, you know, like auto sports kind of inspired collection. Next year, I don't know, we might be influenced by rock and roll, Kurt Cobain. Do something rock and roll. You know, might wear, like get some tight jeans back in market, you know, with rips and stuff like that. It depends on the feel, man. Like we want to be progressive and also it has to go with what we want to wear. So I don't try to like make stuff for what people want to wear, but the shit that I'm inspired because I want to be able to wear it in Paris. Like, and we take it to pride. When I wear Cabinet Noir in Paris, people go, man, I love that shit. I'm like, oh, cool. They don't even know the brand, but they just love the aesthetic. And then later on they find out what the brand is about. But it changes every time. Like we're doing one this Friday, we're launching the Choose Music campaign, which is inspired by Catherine Hamnett's campaign, Choose Life, which has got to do with the suicide and mental health issues and stuff. So for us, it's like, all right, choose music that helped us go through that. You know, that was inspired by that. And our designer, Alex, did that. I'm like, oh, fuck, I love that. You know, I love that whole concept. So for me, it's like I don't like to just me coming up with the ideas. I want the boys kind of, hey, I want to do this. Now we have 5 creative brains, right? Obviously, we don't all want to be chef in the kitchen. Then it can create conflict. But then we go, oh man, I like this. All right, let's put that in the collection. Now everyone has an input. Now our collection gets bigger. Then everyone else in the crew can wear it. And then before you know it, everyone else around us will wear it too because they're inspired by the same shit. So like, yeah, our creative process is kind of a little bit different. We don't have like a head designer, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's not like a dictatorship kind of brand. Yeah. I like it like that, you know?
Yeah. No, whatever works, bro. Whatever works. So what's your North Star?
What do you mean? What's my North Star?
So
like
your
my
North
goal?
Star, like your big goal. Like what's the big goal for you?
All the time, bro. When I was a kid, I just want to dance. That was my North Star. I want to be like the best b-boy in the world. As you get older, it's like, fuck, I want to make Cabinet Noir the biggest brand in the world. Do you know what I mean? To me, my North Side is just basically just kind of trying to create a difference in the world. It kind of sounds a bit wanky, but I've always wanted to do stuff with like stuff to do with like poverty and shit. You know what I mean? Like through fashion. You know what I mean? Like that's why I want to make money first. Because without money you can't create much difference. Do you know what I mean? So for us, like, man, you just think about money and like, bro, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna help 1-2 people at a time, or you wanna help a million, 2 million people at a time? All right, so for me, it's like the latter. But for me to do that, I need to be selfish, make money for the company, get that $1 billion status, you know, once we get there, then we can start helping people, right? So it's that. But same time, you want to be able to give whilst you in the process of getting to there. That's something I'm working on, whether either teaching kids, giving tools and shit like that, or different way of giving rather than monetary charity and donations, which people don't even remember. We're giving them tools. Hey, we're teaching how to fish rather than giving the fish. You know, for me, that's the biggest donation ever. Because when I want to be able to mentor other people. The more people I mentor, I wish I was mentored by someone else. I'm still mentored by people around me. I'll ask them, hey, how do you get this? And they'll teach you, right? So I'm lucky enough to have that. But as a kid, you know, back then there was no social media, there was no guidance. But now you have so many guidance. You can go on TikTok and learn so much shit on there. Like, man, you can start a business on TikTok. I'm like, what? I see kids like doing so well with making TikTok and being an influencer and stuff like that. I don't have one true North Star, bro, to be honest.
Okay.
Sorry.
You want to help?
Yeah, like I have
as
a
many
vision
people
there.
as you can.
Do you know what I mean? But then like I'm bouncing around like this, probably my ADHD kicking in.
It does, bro. It changes all the time. Well, Edward, thank you, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Sharing, man. Grateful. Cheers.
Thank you, brother.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Peace. Man. Sure, bro. Thanks for that.
That was good, man.
Sorry about that little block I had. Fuck, I went
You can always cut it, right?
That's a good podcast, right? Bro, so I've got a so this is a black book here. I started it this year, so we get all our guests to chuck either a quote or